So,
Hello, Dr. Kane. How are you, sir?
Mike, this is probably the most fun, passionate, and exciting conference that we do as an academy. We're here with the students and residents. We got 2,000 folks here. And right now we're talking about healthcare reform, and we're talking about students and residents looking for matching places for their residencies.
That's great. That's great. From a board member or from a board standpoint or from the academy standpoint, can you share with my audience why this meeting of residents and students is so important for the board and so important for the academy, sir?
But when you talk about the future of family medicine, these students that are here and these residents that are here, they're helping us create the future for family medicine. They bring us ideas. They bring us their thoughts about what's important to them. And their Congress of Delegates helps us modify our policy to make certain that we're talking about healthcare in the ways that students and residents relate to. So it's an exciting time to be here. We're hoping that their voice can be loud and clear. We as an academy actually invest in students and residents. We make certain that there is a student and a resident in every one of our commissions, every one of our board seats, so that their voice can make a difference in academy policy nationally.
Wow. Well, this is, of course, Dr. Jeffrey Kane, the AAFP president. Can you, a question that I get every year is I'd like to ask people, how has your year being president? Can you share a little bit about, how that's been for you?
This has been a fun year and a challenging year. We've been on Capitol Hill talking a lot about making certain that the parts of the Affordable Care Act that works for family physicians are going forward. I've been working a lot on Medicaid expansion to make certain that the payment rates for Medicaid go up for primary care in all the states. And that's one an important part of the Affordable Care Act, that Medicaid will be expanding. More people will have Medicaid. And Medicaid has been such a poor payer in many states that family docs were losing money on every patient. It's hard to make up money on by volume. And so we're helping states understand that Medicaid rate is going to go up for primary care, how the family doctors can do that, and we're advocating nationally to make certain that that goes forward beyond the 2 years that was planned in the Affordable Care Act. That's one example, Mike.
Great, great. A couple more questions for you. For lobbying and being on Washington and getting access, it's important to have a strong, family medicine PAC, FM PAC. Can you share a little bit about why the FM PAC is so important for the academy?
These days, it's funny because a PAC has got kind of a dirty word. A PAC doesn't buy votes, but a PAC helps us open the door. Let me tell you about 4 or 5 years ago when I would walk in, you bang on the door, and you talk about primary care issues, and their eyes would kind of glaze over when we talked about Title VII. These days, when we knock on the door, that we've contributed to campaigns for those folks that are in office, it helps us open the door to carry the message for family doctors throughout the country on what's important to their patients and their practices. And so the good news is that we are actually closing in on $1 million for the election cycle, which is a 2-year period. So our PAC is an important part of walking us into the door to help make certain our issues are heard. Another really important part for family doctors is to know is that there are easy ways that their voices can be heard. We've set up our website so that family doctors can be part of our grassroots advocacy network. That with a simple click, we'll let you know when something that's important to family medicine shows up, so that you can use a simple point and click on our website and be able to have your representatives, your senators, know and understand what's going on and what's important to you as a family doctor in the community. So those are 2 parts. Make certain your voice is heard, make certain you're contributing to the PAC in some small amount that you can afford, so the door is open so your leaders can walk through that door to advocate for you.
Great, great. My last question for you, sir, is that this kind of resident student meeting is kind of a warm up meeting for the big Congress of Delegates and Scientific Assembly that's going to be happening in a couple of months. Can you share a little bit about with my audience why the Congress of Delegates and why the Scientific Assembly is so important to the board and so important to the academy?
Well, 2 parts. The Congress of Delegates is a representative body where family doctors from your state that represent you come and advocate for what should be the Academy's policies. What are our priorities as an Academy? We know that advocacy is important, that changing our practice patterns, education of our students and residents. Actually, what that means to you as a family doctor is up to you and your representative from your state. Talk to your state chapter to make certain that your voice is heard at our national conference. because that's actually the group that helps lead and make policy for the Academy. And the second part you're talking about is our annual scientific assembly. It's a gas. We'll have over 4,000 family doctors there, and to walk in a room and see 4,000 people that share the values of your patients and healthcare for our country is refreshing. And we're trying some new things. Traditionally, the National Scientific, the Annual Scientific Conference was mostly about doctors in rooms learning things that are important to their patients. This year, we're going to try to do some things to help connect you with each other, to connect the passion, and make certain that people get to celebrate the community that we have as family doctors. So come on down and try that out. It's going to be fun. It's in San Diego this year. It's a nice place to visit. And you come away with CME, you come away with connection, and you come away with passion.
Dr. Jeffrey Kane, AAFP president, I want to thank you so much for the time. Thank you so much for your service to the Academy. Thank you so much for your leadership to the Academy. It's been great to get to know you over the last few years. I know that we'll be running into each other during these meetings as well, but it's always a joy to talk to you. Thank you so much for the time, sir.